This is what happens in hypnosis. Your subconscious is at the forefront, not your conscious mind. And your subconscious is telling you things that you're asking it to see. It's not there to trick you. It's not there to lie to you. It's giving you what it has perceived. Now, some people think, well, that's just my imagination. And I would ask them, well, what do you think your imagination is? And how did you get it? And where did that information for your imagination come from? You know, that might make you think twice. Oftentimes what we do is something called parts therapy, where you actually go to the initiating event that started someone's issue, whatever they came to you with, whatever discomfort they were having. Or perhaps sometimes people come out of curiosity too. But in the case where we're trying to go to the initiating event, we don't give it a time frame and say it's got to be within this lifetime. It's any time in the past. Most hypnotherapists do use past life because they find so many issues that people have didn't start in their present lifetime. It goes to a past lifetime. And I took a special certification in past life therapy and learned that, oh, we probably have had 700 lives. It's not just one or two. So it's a common thing. And it's not all Cleopatra or, you know, a famous person. I've done it myself, and I was a peasant woman, and I was collecting clams along the shoreline, and it was a terribly tough life, but every life has a lesson to it. Every life has purpose and meaning. So even though I was a peasant woman, after you're out of the hypnosis and you're looking at, I shouldn't say out of hypnosis, you're actually still in hypnosis, but you're out of that lifetime and looking back, there's always wonderful insights you have as to why were you there, what did you learn, and what will you do differently in the next lifetime. Sometimes something that is too close to us, so painful right now in our present life, we wouldn't be able to address it, but yet if we look at it more objectively, like in a past life, we are able to talk about it and look and experience it without the same repercussions you have doing it in your present life. So it can be an analogy that your subconscious is giving you. It's a technique. So I always tell my clients, you don't have to believe in past lives, but what I want to emphasize is that it's so efficient and so productive in helping you get over your issue. People automatically go to their past life. They had no intention of going. I didn't know they were going to go. They just automatically went to a past life. And they'll start describing themselves, and they'll know their names oftentimes. They'll know their family. And you can take them through different years. You can start wherever they are and say, well, let's go to next year or 5 years from now. And we try to find out what in that past life happened that is still in their current life and needs to be released, needs to be addressed. Now, sometimes someone will come and you know right away, this has got to be a past life and a problem that's related to a past life. If they started at very early childhood, afraid of something, like dramatically afraid, whether it's of bees or if it's needles. I had one client that was terrified about needles and buttons, actually. And we just knew it had to be a past life. She started at a very, very young age, you know, just like maybe 2 years old, being afraid of buttons. Didn't make sense. And sure enough, it went to a past life, and she was able to release tremendous fears and panic attacks and so forth. Not everybody meets a violent death. Sometimes it's just, you know, old age, and it's what did they do? Maybe they ignored their children, and then in this lifetime they have a chance to make up for what they did and learn and do things differently. So not every lifetime is violent, not every lifetime is famous. There are many, many more that aren't famous, but everyone's meaningful. That's what's so interesting about it. And when we do go to a past life because it's a beginning of somebody's issue, there's always something then that can release in their present life. Just think what it does to a person's view of reality. It like changes everything. And people are opposed to change. We're very slow to take change, and there's a lot of things that are unknown about change, and we resist it. However, if you accept past lives and realize that there's that much more meaning to our lives, that each thing we do has a purpose, and when we end our life, we're going to look back on it and say, you know, what did I gain from that? What lessons did I learn? What do I need to do differently the next time? It gives you so much more purpose. It's really It changes people's view of reality and their philosophy of life. So those are pretty dramatic things. So those could also be reasons that people resist having to do that. It's almost something you have to experience for yourself. And that's why past lives, when people experience it for themselves, it opens their mind. Right now, their minds are so many are very cynical about it. It's just so different from what they've been brought up to believe, perhaps. But you experience it, or you witness someone experiencing it, and it changes everything. It really does. And it has been researched, and there's a Dr. Brian Weiss, he's been on Oprah, and he has a wonderful website. He's written books, Many Lives, Many Masters, and several others after that. And there are other very well-known people also. If you want to research it, by all means, the material is out there. And I highly, highly recommend that people do that. There are facts that people, when they're in hypnosis and they go to a past life and they talk about different streets and they talk about different buildings and so forth, things can be proven. You know, it's very difficult not to be able to prove it to some extent. I tell people, my clients in particular, I show them a circle and I say, this much of the circle is what we know. And then I show them a little bit larger section. I say, this is what we don't know. And then all the rest of the circle is what we don't know that we don't know. How can we, with our limited human brains, try to figure out what God created? It's impossible. And it's a matter of faith. It really is. People are searching on the outside, looking, where's happiness? Where's happiness? And meanwhile, they can create it right now in themselves if they just took the time to understand how and trusted themselves. Well, that's why I think for anybody watching this program that they'll be able to relate and think, maybe this is happening to me, something that I can't get over. It may have started someplace else, like a past life. And they don't have to believe it and say, oh, it's 100%, I believe it. They can be skeptical, but I say, stretch your mind. Leave the judgment behind and just be in the moment and then decide what you think. And I think what happens with hypnosis is that you get into an altered state, the alpha state, or a little bit deeper, theta, where everything slows down, you're more relaxed, but most of all, it opens your mind up to so many other possibilities that you couldn't imagine otherwise. It's a wonderful state. It's for creativity, it's for insight, and it's for spirituality too. And that's what hypnosis is about.